Agripath is a project that focuses on empowering smallholders to improve their land management in a way that they learn new techniques of sustainable land management that makes them more resilient to the challenges of climate change and ultimately improves their productivity. And that will also lead to less food insecurity in the world. At the end of the day, the majority of the small-scale farmers produce about 2/3 of the world food, and at the same time, they live in rather poor conditions, and very often they suffer from malnutrition. We produce a digital tool, an app, that helps farmers to access information they need anytime they want without being dependent on some kind of a stakeholder, being dependent on somebody traveling to them. However, what is key is that the information is also useful and that information really reaches. And the idea is that we develop an app that is producing educational messages via entertainment. So the app shall be really fun to use, and most important, the app will use a bottom-up approach. That means farmers themselves will be involved in developing good solutions, in sharing good solutions, and hopefully in forwarding good solutions to other farmers that might not have digital access yet, but they can forward it via a text message, for instance. So ultimately, we will develop different versions of an app, and we will test all the different versions in a very rigorous way with experiments, field experiments, online experiments, and randomized controlled trials. So I think also by doing all the science in 5 different countries, we will learn a lot how to tweak digital tools in order to reach people in a meaningful and effective and efficient way.
farmbetter is mainly based on the idea that farmers should get information on sustainable land management practices. So really reduce the impact on the environment, but that's also equally important that they have approaches or opportunities to improve their farming in a way that it's more productive, more safe, more efficient, and produces better outcomes for themselves. Right now, we really want to work or implement processes where bottom-up knowledge generation can be used for adapting the current solutions and also sharing the experience the farmers themselves have with the practices to then use this information to share it with other farmers, and they then can build upon this. So that's really the idea of this bottom-up mechanisms that we empower farmers by becoming the driving factors of knowledge acquisition and sharing. Currently, the app is very static, and the chatbot enables to implement this matching process in a natural conversation. So the chatbot is asking questions about the farmer's farm, and based on the answers the chatbot then receives, can look in the database for suitable solutions and then provide those solutions also in a more natural way, maybe explain additional information. We also really aim for, and that's the next step, to transform our chatbot into a voicebot, so that farmers do not need to write messages anymore, but that they can talk also in their local language to the voicebot and receive information through the voicebot. And that's extremely important as the low literacy levels in the countries are the biggest challenge right now to make this process happen, and also that it can work without external stakeholders or without external agencies, so that farmers can really interact with the app by themselves.
It's an interesting question if we can learn something from this project for the Global North, and I think we can. I mean, ultimately, the challenge is that there is a lot of information out there, and especially in the Global North, people are all the time busy getting new information from the internet, watching a little film here, reading something there, sitting in the subway, reading more, either on the phone or when they look up something else, it's advertised somewhere. And I think the idea is to think about how to engage people in a way that they become part of the community that you're trying to create. And we do try to create a community, at least in the Global South, a community that together wants to provide better solutions for everybody.
Okay, so as you have heard, we're trying to reach as many farmers as possible with the FarmBetter app. Means on the one hand to reach as many households as possible, but on the other hand, we should also look inside the households and look at women, who are a very important group of farmers that is often left out of farming decisions while they supply a lot of labor. So it's important to note that women are left out for specific reasons, and we're going to conduct studies to find out why exactly women are on the one hand left out of agriculture in many ways, but also why they are left out from using digital tools. And two reasons that govern both of these aspects are social norms. So there are social norms that make access to digital tools for women more difficult. For example, women are sometimes not allowed to use phones in absence of their spouse, or they are constrained in their mobility, while, for example, internet is only available in public spaces in some of the villages. So one study will look at tackling specifically these barriers, for example, through working with groups of women, which could make it more acceptable for women to use the app. It will also sort of introduce role models, because some women in the group will be more advanced than others, while other women can identify with them and will also feel more empowered to also apply a solution. And the third way in which a solution will be beneficial is that women can also share a phone, because also often there are financial constraints, or let's say the phone stays mostly with the husband. But if women can share a phone, they are also more able to access information as a group.